Okay, so we're under hybrid presentation tonight, hopefully. I would like to start with the land acknowledgement, please. I'd like to begin our meeting recognizing the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples of Canada as traditional stewards and caretakers of the land. We acknowledge that Clearview Township is located within the boundaries of Treaty 18, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, whatever, Tionati, the Wendat, and is the home of many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples as part of an intricate nationhood that reaches across Turtle Island. At this time of truth and reconciliation, we welcome the opportunity to work together towards new understandings and new relationships and ask for guidance in all that we do. Okay, can we have somebody make a motion to approve the agenda, please? Okay, you take whoever.
Oh,
And second, all in favor? There are no deputations.
There are none.
presentations. Okay, thank you. Okay, can we have a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, please? Okay, first and seconded. All in favor? Okay. Jennifer, the business report?
okay. We just get there and. Right, so I hope all of you were able to come to the grand opening. It was a really fantastic affair and we had a good turnout and good media coverage. And there's really great pictures coming, right, Michelle? Yes, we had several photographers there. However, we did have the temporary signage put up for you to have a look at. The book plates were all in new books in the branch for those who had donated at the $100 level. And at the June meeting, we're going to have signage as one of the topics for discussion. So if you didn't get a chance to come in and really look at the signage in terms of what it looked like, size, placement, please come back in the next couple of weeks or the next month and, take some notes, look at it, think about what you would like. The children's area, for example, maybe you'd rather have it as a hanging sign or a triangular sign sitting on top of one of the children's shelving units. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these things. And we'll talk about that at the June meeting, and then we can order that. And probably by September, we would have the signs completed if we can agree on what we need. We talked about a hybrid meeting going forward, at least temporarily at the last meeting. So that's what we're using tonight. And we hope at some point Kimberly's able to connect with us. I have phoned her and left a message. And I believe, Michelle, you had emailed her the new invite. So I'm sure she's trying to get in. So the protocol will be that I will send out the meeting request or the meeting invitation. It's just a general invitation, which will include the COVID checklist for health if you're going to attend in person. And then if you're going to attend by Zoom, certainly let me know. So I'll send you the link rather than just broadcasting it to everyone. You know by now that the Simcoe County has changed its direction in terms of providing assistance with library services. The motion has gone through, and I really think that at this point in time, what we need to do is wait for a project manager to be hired by the county and work with that person. That there are some issues that we all have concerns about, but our concerns we can't really address until we get a better idea, a clearer picture of exactly what is involved. And I don't think we're going to get that until we have somebody in place at the county who's looking at the vendor contracts, who's looking in great detail at how some of the technological intricacies of what's being proposed or what has been accepted are in place, and they can see more clearly some of the issues that the boards and the CEOs have expressed. So I look forward to working with that person. I'm sure we all do. And certainly the CEOs committee is happy to assist them in any way and to make areas that they're a little apprehensive about. Get some clarity there. Are we going to have more costs? We don't know. That's something to be determined. Everything's really everything right now is status quo. Okay, so I know we've had some staff who've been concerned about, are there not going to be any more rotations of large print books or launch pads? Everything will remain as normal until the project manager's been hired and has been able to go through all the material related to this decision by county council. So I think right now it's premature to get concerned. The county has made its decision, and we need that person in place to see how we are moving forward with that. Now at Creemore branch, we've had problems with the flagpole, so I have contracted with our general contractor to remove it. We've ordered a new flagpole, which should have arrived this week. The general contractor is picking it up, and when he can schedule it in, he's going to replace the existing flagpole, but he's going to put it further down the building where there are no trees. So we'll no longer have the branches from the trees ripping things up. We've also engaged an arborist to come and do a good pruning of those trees. Our new Lowell branch, we hate our phone. So we've had a second line put in because this is what was recommended to us by Bell, because we've had a lot of interference on the phone line and dropping of calls. So we did that, which was probably a good idea. And we had Curonium move their alarm system over to that line. But we're still having issues with the old line. So we're going to have somebody come and cable from where it comes into the building to the circulation desk. And that will hopefully eliminate this issue with the call. So it appears to be a situation where it's inside the building, not external. Okay, so we had our grand opening and it didn't rain. It was a beautiful day and very hot, and whoever is phoning me should stop. But okay, and they're from a really, well, we don't need that. Okay, the CEO's report, Madam Chair. All right, for the grand opening, we had someone come in and voluntarily clean up some of the side yard there. That's all gravel, so it looked a little bit better. I know that the Parks Department was very industrious in eliminating the pond that had formed due to the amount of rain we'd had before the opening. And we also had the windows cleaned, which is probably something we should schedule to do twice a year anyway. So, and it came in at a reasonable cost. Okay, I'm just kicking my purse now. Good Food Access Fund. So this is separate from the Georgian Bay Good Food Box. So this is, I don't know if it's annual, but they've had this money come in before, and they've included Collingwood in previous years in terms of getting grocery store gift card donations. But this year they included the beach and our own public library systems. So we got $1,000 worth of gift cards. We're not in a position financially to set up food depots in our 3 branches. And I think that would be a duplication of the service provided by our food banks in Clearview Township. So I got in touch with the Clearview Stainer Food Bank, and they selected the most needy of their recipients to obtain these gift cards. I thought this was the right way to go because they know who needs this in the community. To set up 3 food depots, as Collingwood has done and as Wasaga Beach is proposing to do, we'd need extra money rather than just the $1,000 gift cards to be able to do that. And we have nothing in the budget for this year. I would need to know before, a month before they give us the gift card so we could plan for that. And additionally, the other thing that Collingwood had done last year was allow people to nominate or self-nominate people in the community that they thought they would need it. I felt that the food bank would probably really be the ones who would know who would need. So that's what we did. And we're really thankful that they included our library system this time, because we know there are people in our community who need this service. Our Canada Summer Job.
Jennifer?
Yep, right.
Sorry, I
Yes.
just wanted to
Go
ask,
ahead.
is that something that's a once a year thing? Like, is it going to be repeated? Or is
I
there
don't know if it's going to be repeated. They have given Collingwood Public Library funds before.
Okay.
This is the first time the Beach Library and Clearview Library have been included. And if we were a one branch library system, I can see that we might do something that the Beach and Collingwood are doing in terms of creating a food depot, but I can't see just having it in one branch. Stainer branch is big, but it certainly wasn't designed to have that in it, but we can adapt. But Creemore and New Lowell are smaller, and particularly in New Lowell, I'd be concerned about, you know, where would I put it? Because there is space limitations there.
I think I just wanted to say that I thought that was a really good idea to give it to the food bank to distribute. I think they probably have a really good idea.
Well, it's
Who
just,
needs it?
yes, I felt so too. And I also felt that, you know, if you're trying to maintain 3 of these things, that gets pretty cumbersome with the staffing that we have. And we know that the food bank is connected to and knows who needs these services. So, and they were very, very happy to get them. So they've gone to a good home. We did get approval for our Canada Summer Job Grant. And so next week, the ad will be going out. I've already, even though we haven't put the ad out yet, started to receive resumes for that. So that's great. The circulation clerk position that was advertised closed on May 15th. I've got 8 interviews lined up of the many resumes that we received. And so I'll be doing those interviews tomorrow and on Thursday. I also applied for an International Dyslexia Association grant. It's $500 and goes towards decodable books. And if you don't know what decodable books are, there's a little right up there, because I didn't know what they are either. But it will also cover promotion within the branches for these books. And we know that one of the first places people go when they discover that their child has any kind of reading disability or problem is to the library. So we're an obvious place to host these books, and the IDA will also give us titles and that we can purchase, the names and authors, and they'll also tell us where we can get these books. So hopefully we will be approved for that grant. Something that you have in your package is the draft policy for the CEO succession planning. You've also got the operational binder. Now that's just for you to look at. You don't have to approve that, but the policy we do need to go over. And if you want amendments to it, that's fine, or accept it as it is. But I hope you've all had time to have a look at it. We've tried to cover everything that we possibly could. It's item 5.4 in your agenda package. And the preamble and definitions are pretty standard. According to the job descriptions for the CEO and the deputy CEO, if I am not available to fulfill my duties as the CEO, the deputy CEO becomes the acting CEO after as soon as I can't do that. But there are other things that we've looked at, like, short-term planned succession, that's going probably back to if I'm going to be off for another hip replacement, which we hope is not going to happen. Departure, whether voluntary or involuntary. And when there is the departure of the CEO, you need to think about how do we select a new CEO. So that is covered in the policy as well. And transition and probationary period for when you do hire a new CEO. So that's the broad strokes. I didn't include all the related documents, or did I? I didn't. Okay, so but when we put this policy into our policy binders in the branch, we've already got the employee policy in there, and it will include the Public Libraries Act and our operational resource binder, because that will be in every branch for reference. So I don't know whether you need to debate the policy or if there's any changes or additions you want to make to it.
Just a couple of things that I sort of question here. We have in the definitions, CEO designate. But that term doesn't really appear later on. It appears that we now refer to that as the acting CEO. Should we don't have a definition for acting CEO, but is that what we really mean by when we have CEO?
That is what we mean, but I can change that if the board wishes me to do so.
Just for consistency purposes, I think it would probably be appropriate.
Okay, so I'll change that to acting CEO. Are there any other modifications or changes? What? Oh, you've got more.
I've
Okay.
got more, just, I've been studying it. 1A refers to a replacement for a term no greater than 3 months. I
Right.
didn't see anything in here relative to what happens after 3 months if the period is longer than 3 months.
Okay, so 2A talks about short-term plan succession is used for planned situations where CEO is not able to perform the duties for a period not expected to exceed 3 months. You're right. Well, okay, let's go back. Let me redraft that then. I think the concept was if the CEO is not here for 3 months, then probably you need to look for a new CEO. Okay, so can I modify, do you have wording to modify that or
I
did you want?
I don't because I didn't really know what was,
Okay,
I didn't know what the policy, what might be to go beyond 3 months.
does anybody have some ideas?
Madam Chair,
Oh, good, the mayor does. Okay.
thank you. My suggestion would be that it would be supplemental to it, that you would add just a sentence saying that further than 3 months would be at direction of the board. So the board would have to meet and either continue the agreement with the deputy acting or make a decision to move to hire. So I think after 3 months, it should just come back to the board.
Yeah, that should work.
Okay, was there anything else, Bob?
What if there were multiple occurrences of absences?
Well, then I think that's part of the job performance issue, isn't it? I mean, if someone's unable to fulfill the duties, you know, and you'd have to look at, like, if your CEO had 3 babies in 5 years, I think you'd have trouble saying you can't fulfill your duties, but.
Well, what I was thinking is of a chronic situation where someone was off for periods of time on a multiple situation, you would end up with your designate then being called upon a lot more than you might otherwise. And there should be some protection for that position, that it couldn't be a 3-month occurrence and then 6 months later another 3-month occurrence followed by, you know, it's this sort of thing. I don't know whether it would come up, but it certainly is something that should be.
I get what you're getting at, but I don't think you can, and the mayor can correct me because he's been in this longer than I have, but well, maybe not longer because I'm really old, but I think if you start looking at something like that, that's when you need to get a human resource expert involved, because that's not just succession, that's talking about, you know, you have to look at why they're off.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. To Bob, keep in mind that the municipality has to follow all of the, employment regulations and employment laws of the province of Ontario, and some of them are federal laws as well, so federal laws. So there is a pretty specified, program as to how someone takes a short-term leave, long-term leave, and so on. And there are protections already in place, as we are a public agency, to protect an employee's position for a certain length of time. It will always be up to the board to adhere to it or not, but a good advice would always come from an HR professional, which we have at the township, and that HR services are provided by the township to the board. So we have the resources to help answer those questions if we have difficult questions put to us. So, I think it's important, and I like your first point, but I think that we need to extend it, but we should always come back to the board to refer anything further. And the board should also be kept up to date if there is a long-term disability or a long-term leave program in place between the employee and HR. Certainly the board should be kept up to date, and that's a reason to actually go in camera. So.
Thank you, Your Worship. Does that,
Okay.
Yeah.
I just had one small thing was just a punctuation. I think that's out of order. And that's 1B, refers to the deputy comma CEO. I think the comma's misplaced there. Just to pick a nit.
1D, did you say?
1B, B as in Bob.
Oh, B. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sorry, get carried away with that. That's easily addressed. Now, if we go with the addition under 1A of further than 3 months would be at the direction of the board. Is that acceptable to the board if we make that, if we put that in the motion as a change?
I would accept that.
Can we
Okay.
make that motion? Yes.
And Pam,
Yes. All in favor with adding that?
okay,
Okay.
thank you very much. That was. Okay. The next. Okay, right, we talked about the open circulation clerk position. We have a Clearview Public Library retiree. The Acuto board has been set up for staff and board members to wish her a happy retirement. And if you'd like to access the board, Michelle, please get in touch with Michelle and she will send you the link. All right, so we've posted some pictures, staff have put some lovely comments up there, and there will be a come and go tea at the Creemore branch on May 21st from 10 until noon.
So
if
this
you-
Saturday.
Yeah, so if you'd like to, we really encourage you to stop by and wish her well in her retirement. I think she's going to be very excited. So that's, now the other thing we talked about at the last board meeting when we were in camera, but we don't have to talk about details, so we can do this in the open session, is to remove from the CEO's job description the requirement that the CEO obtain the board's approval to discipline and dismiss employees.
We have a motion to remove that from Bob. Somebody second it? Mary, all in favor?
That's fantastic. Thank you. It's just a little change, but it's an important one.
Yes, it is.
In the strategic plan, we haven't forgotten about the strategic plan, but we've managed to get through some of it already. The only item of interest is accessibility, and we are purchasing an ergonomic chair for the Sunnydale branch circulation desk. The one currently there is not adjustable, or at least not adjustable very much. And as we all grow older and have to have, trifocals, it's important to be able to go up and down so you can see the screen properly. So we're currently looking into that, and we should have one, I think, not by the end of this month and by the end of June. Okay. You should have in your package the Clearview Public Library monthly statistical report for April. The only thing of note, I think, is in our circulation, and that's that the e-newspapers and magazines are continuing to climb. So I think 7,100 hits is pretty outstanding. But even if we don't look at that at all, we would still be well over where we were this month last year. So you can see that now we're opening up more and more easily accessible to our clientele, that they are coming in and they are certainly utilizing our services. We had, the new Stainer branch is getting a lot of members every month. This was 38 last month. And I think, Michelle, did we get something like 40 on Saturday? Yeah. So, and as the word gets out, I think we're just going to have more and more, and that's great because it's a big enough facility. We can have more people in it. The difference in the finances is because last year at this time, we received the Ontario Trillium Foundation's resiliency grant, or at least part of it. So that's why there's such a huge difference there. And I don't note anything in the social media that's jumping out at me. We've dealt with the succession plan, and I'll let you receive the operational. I've already given Michelle a copy of the CEO operations binder, so she has that going forward. There was no correspondence, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Bob.
I just, I've lost track of where we are, but looking at the social media and library.
Okay.
At the library for April,
Mhm.
there are some huge changes from 22 to 21 under Twitter.
Yep.
Website visits and our Facebook visits. What's the, why is that, why are those figures so?
Well, for the website, I might have put an extra number on the end. So you just remove the 2, it starts to make a little more sense. And with Facebook and Twitter, if I'm correct, it wasn't around this time last year that they changed how they record impressions and engagements.
So our Twitter activity has fallen by 75%.
Yeah, but they changed how they do the number system on that. So although you're comparing apples to oranges. So I think going forward, if you look at this month compared to last month, or what next month is going to be, you would see a similarity. But because they changed it around this time last year, or maybe even later in the year, in terms of what they count for engagements, it's not just like on Facebook likes. They're not giving us that. They're saying how many times somebody looked at it, or it's not just that you've actually clicked.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think a key thing for the social media is the followers is like your Twitter followers are almost up, like they're getting closer to the Facebook followers, like
Yes.
numbers.
Mm.
And are you guys,
So does
I
that
can't
mean
remember
more
if you guys
younger?
are on Instagram or not, but.
We are on Instagram. It's
Yeah.
so we 111.
Oh, right,
Which is
right.
much more than we had, I think,
Yeah.
this time last year.
Yeah.
So they are climbing. So if you look at that, instead of these sometimes
Yeah, the
wonky
engagement
numbers,
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you can see that we're really moving forward, because
Yeah.
we didn't have a very high Twitter following this
No,
time last
no,
year,
no.
and it's expanding. And Facebook remains our biggest. I think because of the age
Sure.
of people who normally use Facebook a lot.
Yeah. I
And
want to know
because-
when you're going to start a TikTok account.
when you give us more staff, that's when.
So you can do dances and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Right. So I think the next thing, Madam Chair, is the
Okay.
bank account report.
The financial reports, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any questions there? Any questions about the financial reports?
That's just an inclusion with the operational binders that you're
Oh, this
looking
is?
at, Madam Chair. Yeah. So
Oh.
we're not accepting that or anything. That's
Oh, okay.
from a while ago anyways.
All right, got it.
Right. That's just one of the appendices to the operations binder. But so the financial report is the bank accounts report for
Okay.
April.
So we don't have a GL report this month.
There's no GL report this month. You
Okay.
look at it quarterly.
All right, any questions there about the bank account report? No, okay. On to a new business. Is there anybody who would like to bring some new business forward? Bob?
I probably going to seem like a little bit of a broken record, but I was visiting Creemore branch And I noticed that we still don't have a new sign. I'm just wondering when that sign might show up.
Good idea.
I was thinking about that today when Pam and Diane and I were talking about signage in general for the Stainer branch. Can I throw that to you, Mr. Mayor? Because that's a township sign that will be going up there.
Thank you. I will receive that pitch and I will deal with it when I speak to the CAO of the Township of Clearview.
Okay,
Thank you.
so no answers yet. Mary, you have more new business?
Just quickly.
Okay.
I just quickly have some.
Yep, yep.
It's just related to the Ontario Library Services.
Yep.
So I received I get little updates about programs that are available. And I realized that I might start just giving you a little printout of the different things available to staff so that you know all the kinds of neat things that staff are actually doing for free training. For example, they give information about the transparent language, which is now the new learning another language, ELL, and they talk about the different approaches that a library could take to promote that within them, and they give them supports and all kinds of other things. And there's homeschooling in the library. By the way, the homeschooling in the library week is the first week of June. So there will be, I guess, something happening around that. They also have new ways to connect patrons with disabilities through CELA, and they have a collection of alternative formats and accessible reading technologies. They give webinars. So that might be something that even someone who is
Yeah,
needs that.
I get the alert every,
Yeah, it
Why
came
they
out
send it out.
today. I
Yeah.
just thought it was really neat to see, the hotspot lending programs and all the things that this service provides to the libraries and the librarians, so that they have the opportunity without reaching out for it to be able to access some really good ideas for the libraries. So I thought I might just sometimes every once in a while make a little list of the things that have been available. And that we don't necessarily as a board know about. We
Yeah, no,
don't
that's
know the
great.
Everyday workings. Yeah. So that's just a little update from me.
okay. Yeah, because we do utilize some of that, like we have CELA materials in the libraries, and we sign people up for, what used to be exclusively CNIB books.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
both to get them through the library and to be able to get the books at home, you have to go in and register at the library,
Yeah.
even if they deal directly with you. So we deal with that with CELA.
I think too that there have been a lot of the names that have been changed. For example, the transparent language. I was like,
Yeah.
I had to look up what transparent
Transparent
language
language, yeah.
was because that's not the term that was used in the past. So it's just really neat how there is a wealth of material that is coming available, which is nice to have a central place that's being, and for me to even as the OLS person to be able to go to a webinar and find out a little bit more about it. So it's pretty neat.
Well, that's great if you can bring that to future meetings,
Okay.
right? Because I don't always remember to include that because I get so much coming through in the email. I mean, I read it, I decide what to do with it, but you're right that the board members don't necessarily all see it because you're the rep.
Yeah, and if I just sit there with it, and none of you know it, it's just me, and I wouldn't be representing anything. So I'll try to keep bringing forward as I get these little notices. I'll make it up into a little short version of what's become available for libraries.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Mary.
Okay.
That's good. Anyone else have new business that they'd like to bring up? Nope. Okay. So our next meeting is, I guess, another hybrid meeting, hopefully, Tuesday, the 21st of June, here again at 4 o'clock. Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn, please? Okay, Connie and Bob, all in favor?